Good evening, wrestling enjoyers. Hope you're right. It's time for the abnormal barders, and today we have 7 abnormal skins to chase after. We have the Sinotype Firearms Large Box that a lot of people are very eager to talk about. Don't worry, I'll jump onto that in a second. The Impact Protocol Salvaged Icepick, the Neon Meat Fridge, the Nuke Vibe Sheet on the Door, the Deep Ruby Rock, the Funerary Backpack, and the Black Diamond Boots. And of course, we also happen to have the regular skins, Senior Tomato Hammer, and Wasp AK-47. So, you're probably sitting there wondering, what on earth is this going about? Abnormals? Regular skins? What? Well, I'll help you out. If you don't understand, you need help, consider looking in the description right now. You'll see 2 videos are provided. The first video is a 60-second short brief video which briefly showcases what abnormals are. They are skins that become marketable before the roster even rotates, and we know exactly when that's going to happen. So what we'll do right now is we're going to sit down, figure out prices for all these abnormal skins, and then of course, when they become marketable, we'll race to put those barders down. We'll look at the abnormal barter support afterwards, get a good look at the amount of money that's being put towards it, how high does the price go, how many barders do they have, question are they actually going to retain their value, and then of course, if they do look like they're going to retain their value in the future, that looks a whole lot more appealing as an investment. So a nice way to approach these skins to potentially walk away with some sweet, delicious profit. And of course, with the regular skins, they only become marketable when the roster rotates tomorrow. So, cool. If you don't fully understand everything, if you want to learn a lot more, if you want to learn everything in regards to identifying abnormals, understanding when they become marketable, consider watching the second video listed in the description. It's about 20 minutes long, but it'll explain everything that is to do with abnormals. And you'll realise, oh, hang on a minute, this is actually a very good thing to be aware of because it's a great way to help out with trying to make some sweet, delicious profit. So let's get started. We're going to be here for a while. Sinotype Firearms Large Box. Here we go. This is going to go 2 ways, all right? One or the other. So I'm sure many of you are fully well aware that a sequel has been submitted. Loads of people have been commenting on here. Mr. Odyssey, please make a continuation. Please make more. Well, he did. Oh, yes, he did. It's right there. We have the ammunition box right there. We are the closest we have ever been to a brand new storage collection. But will it happen? For the past 3 or so years, I've seen so many skin creators making storage collections, attempts, submissions. Have you seen any of them being accepted? No. Graffiti storage was the last one. And let me remind you, neon storages, scientific storages, and graffiti storages, they went up in price ever so nice because people love a collection. All right? So these used to have several hundred quantities. Their prices weren't as good, but as time went on, they have been improving. They have been appreciated. If I go over to here, look at it this way, you'll see that all of these skins are doing very, very nicely at the moment. I do hope I spelled that correctly. There we go. Yep. Positive, 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 positive. But of course, the absolute best one is of course the neon storage, which is now like a whole deplorable collection, but you can see for yourself. This was like the first main proper big one that loads of people became aware of, and the prices for those are ridiculous. It's the thing that we would always compare to, but yeah. I don't blame the skin creators for trying, because of course if you do end up with a storage collection, you're basically guaranteed like 15 skins. That's usually how it's been. Neon storages, scientific storages, graffiti storages. Anyway, if we do see that continuation being accepted, whether it's tomorrow or next week, of course that's going to spike in price. Of course, it's going to go up ever so lovely. All right. So, just want to bring this up. When I was, on the 48-hour analysis this past Saturday, I was considering how much that large box was going to likely sell. I thought it was going to do between 25 to 30,000 subscribers. I generalised it, but I also brought up the idea that don't be surprised over the course on Thursday. If a lot of people are going to wait till the last second, don't be surprised if we go over 30,000 subscribers. But how's it going to go down? We don't know. It's a big worry. So anyway, I've just talked about the positive situation. If we do see a collection flourish and work out, that right there will be going up in price. Maybe it doesn't instantly go up and like $5 double in price, but it would be in the positive. And as time goes on, as more and more skins are accepted, it would only increase in demand more and more with even more buy orders. Now, unfortunately, SCMM is a bit awkward, but I could just refresh and I can continue from here. Don't you worry. But anyway, I'm sure you get the point. I'm sure you understand. Things could work out very, very nicely if this were to be accepted. But then we also have to question, what happens if it's not? Well, you see, if it's not, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if Firearms Large Box crashes and burns. A lot of people have bought into it. A lot of people have bought in excess with a pure intent to sell. A lot of people bought extras of the Firearms Large Box because they do expect it to become a nice and profitable skin. So initially, at the end of tonight, I won't be surprised that the large box does end up having like a lot of barders and going all the way up to its restore price. Cool. But if we don't see those continuations over the course of the next few weeks, people will panic and they will sell and the highest barders will disappear. I don't think we have an absolutely ridiculous amount like the Heatseeker SAR or the Heatseeker MP5, for example, but there's still a lot of these in circulation. All right. So you have been warned. Okay. So yeah, this is happening, but it will recover. Come on. Don't flashbang me. Don't flashbang me. Don't. Well, that's kept you awake, hasn't it? Got to be up and lively and prepared to do the fastest bar tonight if you're chasing after that. But yeah, it's in a very, very, very strange spot. But it's either going to flourish and become wonderful, a fantastic investment, or it's not going to get any continuations and it's likely going to sink and we suffer. So, I will say this very briefly and very quickly. Let's go over to here. Let's go to the Rust store. Here we are. Every purchase you make in the Rust store, so as long as you don't unstack anything, if you buy multiples, you know you get stacks and whatnot, but every purchase you make through the Rust store, within 48 hours, without question, you can refund it. That's all I'm going to say, all right? So back over to here. Hopefully this recovers. That large box, just over 28,000 subscribers at the moment. We'll see how it progresses, all right? But tonight, in terms of a price, my eyes are all nice and tantalized. I think I'm going to do $1.80 to $2.20. I'm going to go strong. I'm going to get up right close to it. But I'm also in the position of I need to be prepared to remove those bar holders if we don't see the continuations fast enough. All right? You have been warned. Now, again, just to reiterate, we might not see the continuation tomorrow. Okay? We might see it next week instead, or the week after that. Face Punch has to consider what they want to do. Odyssey very likely to still keep producing more continuations. Will we see an acceptance? Are you a believer? SCMM is not a helpful person to say. Right, anyway, let's talk about the salvaged Icepick. So, I'm not surprised with the sales it got. Over 24,000 subscribers. Is it actually going to retain its value? That's a good question. I'm going to sit here and say I have doubts. So let me just quickly show you this. Let me show you how to search for all the Icepicks with relative ease. You go through here, you search for item type, you look for the salvaged Icepick, and here we are. And let's just show you all the multiple ones, and here we go. There's not that many. For quite a long time, 8 years, we had not seen a brand new salvaged Icepick skin. But of course, as of recent, we now have the brand new one, and it's now the highest selling one ever, 24,000 subscribers. Any Icepick that would have been accepted would have ended up selling a lot. I've seen this behavior before. A lot of people like really desperate to get a skin for it, but quite a few people apparently have misunderstood and they have thought that the salvaged Icepick never ever got any skins, which is kind of surprising, but not everybody's fully well informed in terms of skins and whatnot. So, all right, fair enough. We put our hands up. We understand the situation to a point, but if it's going to behave like, do you remember when we first saw the backpack skins? Do you remember when we had the No Mercy backpack and we had the hardsuit one? They sold quite a lot, didn't they? Oh yeah. Did they work out nicely? Yeah, they didn't. There was problems, wasn't there? So I'm a little bit unsure in regards to this. Like, it could have a collection continuation and whatnot. That'd be cool, but it's not really going to help this out. It has sold quite a lot. 24,000 subscribers could easily amount to possibly like 30,000 to 40,000 actual purchases. I think whilst a lot of people want this now, what happens if we see another Icepick skin being accepted fairly soon, like next week or the week after that? It might ruin the interest this has, because to be honest with you, it's a very standard looking skin. Nothing wrong with that. It got accepted. Skin Creator's probably happy with the sales he got. But I do look at it and I am a little bit concerned. So in terms of what would I offer? Well, I'll be honest with you, I might just offer like $1 to $1.50. I haven't seen a salvaged Icepick skin in forever. So in terms of how am I going to approach this? Well, here's a good question. How often are you using an Icepick? Have you ever considered wanting to skin it? Okay, we'll leave it at that then. But $1 to $1.50 will be my my approach. Right then. So, are we good now? Why won't you work for me when I need you most? You were right during the Rust Workshops. Okay, let's move on. Neon Meat Fridge. So we just had a whole discussion in regards to the Sinotype firearms and the possibility of seeing the ammo large box. Well, let me point this out to you. If there were to be a collection continuation appearing tomorrow or next week or the week after that, I honestly think it's going to be the fridges, the neon fridges. We've just recently seen the pies fridge being submitted. Last week with the meat fridge, we saw the veggies fridge being submitted. And of course, quite some time back, we saw the berries fridge being submitted. Duck only wants to do 4. Those are your 4 fridges. Now, I did bring up this whole point of, okay, cool, neon fridges. We might get like a special sub-collection, you know, much like lockers and the garage doors and whatnot. Here's the question. Do you need multiple fridges in the base? How big of a group do you play in? But yeah, you might not even need that many. But did people honestly need 3 different lockers last year when they saw the neon lockers appearing? No. But guess what happened? With the very first locker, that being the, well, I'll show you. Might have to quickly turn that off. There you go. The neon full kit locker was the first one to appear. This was back in the summer of 2024. Sold 42,000 subscribers. But initially, it spiked demand, spiked a price ever so nice because we got the continuations instantly. We saw the hazmat locker appear literally the very next week. And then the week after that, neon roadside locker. So at one point, this locker right here, this was going all the way up to about $5 plus. It was doing good. It was doing all right. But evidently, did you really need 3 lockers? Did you really need them to be coordinated and coloured and, you know, like specifically for something? Evidently no, and for quite a fairly long period of time, this, along with the other lockers, and these 2 are still suffering, by the way, they all dip below the rust or price. This hasn't exactly had a very fun time as of recent. Like only recently did it kind of recover and end up in a better spot. But yeah, during spring that was not having fun. It really wasn't. And of course the autumn fall seasonal dip. However, it still spiked in demand, spike in price when we saw those initial skins being accepted. And I just cannot help but assume the behaviour we saw there is very likely going to be replicated if we see another fridge skin being accepted. It wouldn't surprise me. So as much as like everybody's fussing about the Sinotype collection, I'm honestly in the position of maybe the fridges might be a better shout. Because as I have already mentioned, Face Punch is very averse to the idea of a storage collection. But a fridge subset, you know, sub-collection? Oh, mate, yeah, they'll probably do that. How many fridges we had accepted so far this year? Well, you know what? Let's go have some more. So we'll see, all right? But if you were to ask me for my honest opinion what's most likely going to happen, I honestly think the fridge is more likely compared to the ammo Sinotype Large Box tomorrow. That is what I'm going to say. So maybe you might want to do a strong bargain on that. So for a $2.49 fridge skin, I think I'm going to offer $1.50 to $2. Because I feel confident we'll see those continuations. But let me warn you, if we don't see it spike that much, or if we do not see that many more fridges being accepted, like maybe we don't even see another one being accepted now, that very likely will drop off. It wouldn't surprise me. That has done over 19,000 subscribers. By tomorrow, it wouldn't surprise me if it potentially goes over 20,000, which of course was the expectation on the 48-hour analysis, which I've already mentioned to you if I go over to here. I thought this is going to do between 20 to 23,000 subscribers. A lot of people very likely are waiting until the last second. A lot of people are probably going to make a move the second that we've done the buy orders, as in actually go ahead and make a purchase. And it wouldn't surprise me. Yippee. So SCMM's not being helpful today. I'm sorry about that. But I'm sure I got the point across. It has sold quite a lot. We don't definitely know if we're going to get those continuations. But the behaviour I've seen in the past with the Neon collection, when you see a little subset appear, yes, they do work out quite nicely. It's very nice. So you've been warned, but honestly, $1.50 to $2 seems to be perfectly fine in this particular moment. Cool. Right then, so what would be the next skin to talk about? I do believe we should probably be talking about the Sheep Matador. Nuke Vibe, you've done just over 14,000 subscribers. Hopping over to here again, I'd like to point out that has done, as expected, just over 14,000 subscribers. My estimate was between 14 to 16,000 subscribers. Cool. So, looking at you, you're a perfectly fine looking Sheep Matador. But however, Sheep Matadors in the past, they have not been performing very nicely. We have far too many options. Now, of course, this being a sequel to the recent Nuke Vibe Garage Door, if we could just go take a look at that sold quite nicely, and that did a fairly decent job of retaining its value, but it's gone down again. Look at that. It's now selling for $2. Just a few listings below its roster price, but look at what these people are doing. Why would you list so much? Other people. So anyway, initially this looked really cool, but there will be more garage doors in the future and whatnot, and eventually I wouldn't be surprised if that drops off. Yes, the continuation appearing did give it a bit of a boost, but even then, I'd still worry for this and whatnot. Like, again, we might see some more skins being produced. I haven't seen that as of recent, though. I worry for this. I'm not confident. I think I'm just going to do 80 cents to $1.20. Cool looking door. By all means, if I got it for half the price, I'd be quite happy. But as time goes on, are you even going to stay above $1? That's going to be a good question. So 14,000 plus subscribers isn't too much, but it could still lead to problems. And you know what? I could just quickly click accepted, subs. Yep, we're good. All right. I could just look this way instead as well. So, okay, cool. Right then, so the next skin to talk about, I do believe, is the Deep Ruby Rock. So Deep Ruby Rock, where are you? Got some work to do now. Come on, show me where you are. Show me where you are. I can't seem to find it. Oh, no. Where did it go? It's Deep Ruby, Deep Ruby, Deep Ruby, Deep Ruby, Deep Ruby. I'm going mad. You could just click the accepted skins. There you go. Right, Deep Ruby Rock, where are you? We've got to look at your subscriber count. Just under 11,000 subscribers. Okay. That's not too bad. That's kind of all right. But here's something I've got to talk to you about, and I need SCMM to return to me. Don't give me that. Work for me now. Chop, chop, come on. The rock skins we have seen in the past year, they're recovering. Like, one very good showcase would be the Senior Tomato Rock. So let's go ahead and take a look at you. This crashed and burned when we kept seeing more and more skins being accepted for rock skins this year. Now, it's going all the way back up to its rush store price and beyond. So as you can see, as of recent, whilst it had a pretty bad springtime, it's been casually going up more and more in the summer. This has actually now gone back up into the positive. So yeah, it initially wasn't very good, but now it's improved. Rock skins in general, they're not always perfect. The older ones are doing quite alright, but again, they're like old. So as we look at this, can we expect the same thing to happen to Deep Ruby Rock? No guarantee. If anything, I wouldn't be surprised if Deep Ruby Rock drops off initially as well. This very likely will drop off after a while as well. Don't be surprised by that. So consider making a sale or two if you can. But yeah, with SCMM still down, it's not exactly super easy to see everything. Are you going to work for me now? Oh, can you stop flash banging me? It's mean, it's rude. All right, anyway, rocks. Let's go take a look at you. You'll see for yourself, Baby Hippo Rock has recovered quite nicely. Not all the way down in the dumps, not halfway below its roster price, only slightly below. Senior Tomato doing all right. B-Rock and Sloth Rock could be better. But you should see that we have had quite a lot of rock skins already this year. Deep Ruby Rock, you don't glow or anything, which is fine. You're quite shiny and a bit strange with your very, very purpley design, but I just don't have that much faith in it. Deep Ruby collection as a whole has been pretty funny because not everybody seems to be super invested into it, like it, appreciate it. Sorry to say, but it is true. I keep seeing the people moaning at me for some reason. But we have seen another skin being submitted recently, and it's a Yoka. Interesting. I won't be surprised if we still see Deep Ruby skins being accepted. I'm just not sure if any of it's going to really give the likes of the Rock a boost. So, yeah. That, I'd probably do 80 cents to $1.20 as well. Funerary Backpack. I'm not super convinced with this, but I will sit here and say we have seen a collection continuation. Tier 3 was submitted, and that face mask does look quite silly. Quite sinister. Yes, look at that. So, okay, fair enough. And chances are we'll probably see Tier 2 somewhat soon. But in regards to the backpack, I've got to sit here and say, I don't really see it working out very nicely. By default, I don't really trust backpacks that much, and I'm sure if you've watched me enough, you probably would have got the point by now. But anyway, it's got an interesting bony design. Some people said, oh, Hedge is like a blackout option, right? Yeah, I don't really think that. But the tier 3, the hoodie and pants, could that really make that much of a difference? It'd be nice to see it happen. I just have doubts. To be honest with you, I look at it and I think I'm probably just going to stick with doing a 70-cent to $1 buy order. I don't think that will hold. I don't think the interest will always be there. And you cannot guarantee you cannot guarantee you're definitely going to see a collection continuation. Quite some time back with the road sign backpack, and we saw some more road sign clothing armor skins being produced. None of them been accepted. All right, so do keep that in mind. All right. Overall, does look somewhat cool when you look it up close. It's just I don't think it's going to catch the eye of everybody. So my answer is for that, I'm probably going to do 70 cents to $1. I'm going to commit to that. Black Diamond Boots, 10,384 subscribers. Compare that to the gloves, which worked out very nicely. The gloves went all the way up to 10,900 subscribers. Sorry about this, but I did look at this earlier. I prepared. So if you were to go ahead and take a look at the Black Diamond gloves, let's go take a look at all of that. Black Diamond collection as a whole was doing very nicely at the moment, but the gloves specifically, these came out and ended up becoming the lowest selling blackout alternative option gloves. Lowest selling ones that existed. Then we saw what the hoodie and pants being accepted literally the very next week. That spiked in price and went all the way up to $8. And right now it's sitting here at $5. Still very good. That sold for how much again? I think it was like $2 or $1.49. Very similar to the boots. But we have to question now what's going to happen to the boots. This is still not working properly, is it? Come on. Let me show Black Diamond. I insist upon it. There we go. Come on, we're going to see it. We're going to see it. Ah, perfect. There you go. So 10,921. 10,389. Tomorrow, I won't be surprised if this matches up quite nicely to that, but I cannot guarantee we're going to see the similar results. I cannot guarantee that boots are going to be A-OK. A lot of people tell me, Hedge, I do not care about boots, so I don't wear them. They make too much noise. Fair enough. Cool. It's nice to be aware of like people's opinions and whatnot. It's just, yeah. If you were to take a look at all the other boots that exist, not all of them are doing A-OK. Not all of them are doing perfect. Island Assault, somewhat recent. We got a continuation. Actually, no, you came after. But still, you're doing all right. Big toe boots, the joke didn't last, went down. Tar boots slightly down. Ultramarine boots slightly down. Berserker boots. Legacy Kevlar boots. They sold a lot, but they sold a lot less compared to certain other skins in its collections. That's actually doing very nicely at the moment. $2.30. Any other blackout options? You got Dragon Rage boots sitting here. 31,000 subscribers. Oh my. That's in a negative. Got blackout boots, the original, $11.40. Wow. Training boots, $5. Wow. So there's definitely a lot of options, but there's also standard generic black boots, all right? So hover back over to here. Black Diamond. You do look somewhat fancy. You do look somewhat cool. But you've also sold quite considerably less compared to the other black boots, aside from standard black boots. So, like, I'm sitting here and thinking, you know what? That could actually work out quite nicely. It very likely will be doing a pretty good job in the future as time goes on. So, I think for the Black Diamond boots, I'm going to offer 70 cents to $1.10. I don't know if they're going to go down quite a fair bit initially, so I'll offer a low ball price. But for the second buy order, the stronger buy order, I think I'll be offering $1.10. Yeah, I think that'll be perfectly fine. I wouldn't complain about that. I think that could work out. So, yeah. All right, cool. Leave it at that. Now we have the regular skins to talk about. Senior Tomato Hammer and, of course, the Wasp AK-47. The hammer has sold quite a fair bit. Compared to the previous hammers, we have seen the Harper Seal hammer, and, of course, we have also seen the Medieval hammer. Now, I chirped you, but, of course, we're still getting issues. Yippee! Well, the two previous hammers had around 13,000 subscribers. They haven't exactly gone up in price that much, but they are in the positive. If you're going to approach this Senior Tomato hammer, I'm going to sit here and say you're probably better off doing a $1 to $1.50 buy order. Let's just quickly go ahead and take a look at the Seal hammer. This is in the positive, but its price is not something you would imagine to be a super big profitable... well, funnily enough, sold for $1.99. It's listed here at $2.27. If that were to sell after tax, $1.99. Is that good? I mean, it's fine. It's retained its value. It did go up in the positive a little bit more earlier, a good few weeks back. If you were to approach the Sinotype hammer, I think you're just better off trying to, get away with doing a cheaper build. So in regards to that, I think the best thing you could do is probably something like 90 cents to $1.30. Before, with the other hammers that we saw this year, Medieval and the Harper Seal hammer, I suggested going to work to like $1.50, maybe a little bit higher. Yeah, that was fine, but we've now had 3 marketable hammers this year. Last year we only had 2, and the year before that I think we only had 2 or none. Definitely been there's definitely a big gap. But anyway, point I'm trying to get across is Sinotype hammer, you have sold a fair bit more. I can't guarantee your collection's as in demand compared to some of the other skins we've seen. So like, I think 90 cents to $1.40. Maybe you could push up all the way to $1.50 as well. It's up to you. But yeah, 90 cents to $1.30 is probably the best bet. Maybe it will drop down in price a fair bit initially as we go through the likes of the September, October, November period. But then after that, should just retain its value. And that is the most likely outcome. It just retains its value. You use hammers a lot. For some strange reason, we don't get that many acceptances. Then we have the AK-47. It's a perfectly fine looking design. It's just I don't have that much faith in like standard AK-47 designs. So that'd be a 60 cent to 80 cent barter. Very sorry about that, but yeah, there's plenty more AKs. Very interesting recent Twitch drops and whatnot. I just don't think people will bite for that. Sorry to say. So, yes, that is everything. And once again, I do apologise with SCMM to APP. There is problems. Hopefully, we see improvements as time goes on. Of course, we did have like a week or so where it wasn't even working, so better than nothing. Right, let's talk about other things that you need to be aware of. So, an announcement has essentially been made today. Facepunch is not allowing SKINBOX to allow accepted skins and DLC. So, as you can see here, posted by Protox on Twitter, no, you must not grant access to any Facepunch DLC to players who have not validly purchased it. So essentially, SKINBOX, in certain servers, you can just get all the skins for absolutely free. In certain servers, you have to pay for them. Yeah, no, how cool. Oh, we can't allow that, can we? So anyway, basically, and by that I mean like the server asks you to pay them for the skins, not like you have to buy them yourself. In general, you do have to buy the skins yourself, but for certain servers, they'll make you pay the server to get the skins. Cool, just want to clarify that point. So anyway. Yeah, that very likely could lead to some interesting things happening, some interesting developments, because what happens now? Well, could you see price here, pay to win and camo skins rise up even more? Because, well, if people can't just skin it with SKINBOX, they're going to have to actually go ahead and buy the skins. It's expected that by default, you'd expect a lot more people needing to buy these camouflage skins, because that's what they're used to and whatnot. What are your thoughts? Feel free to comment below. But yeah, I've had a few people respond to me now already. Get a good look at that. Looking pretty cool, seeing all those responses. So yeah, that's a bit odd. But from here now, would you expect prices to be even better? Would you expect prices to be improving? As of recent, June, we saw a bit of a dip in price, didn't we? Yes, we did. But through July, I'm noticing improvements with prices. Now, funny enough, if we could just quickly go over to here, if I could just quickly show you like a Heat Seeker skin, they're always on the front page. Take a look at this SAR. Obviously, it didn't have the best of time when we had the Twitch drop and whatnot, but this is sitting here at $5.35 at the moment, and you'll see it was going down, and now it's rising back up. Quite a few skins are like that, but this is just a very good example showcasing this. They're going down, and they're going back up. So cool. That's very nice to see. Hopefully, we start to see some actual prices peaking for certain items and skins and whatnot. That'd be nice. But yeah, the lack of SKINBOX. How many more people are likely going to want to go ahead and buy skins? Because I just can't help but assume the people who can't afford skins are still not going to be able to afford skins. So it wouldn't really change that much. So, okay. It's an interesting thing that's going on. But your thoughts? Comment below. Right then, so that's been addressed. And of course, for all the newest skins that have been submitted, I'd like to point out, here's my newest Rust Workshop skin checks video. All the collection continuations are right there. And now we question, tomorrow, are we going to have an early Rust rotation? Because last week we did. It was an early one. Didn't get a ping or anything, but yeah. So here's the Rust Workshop skin checks from the previous week. Here's the most recent one. What could we potentially see being accepted? Who knows? We've also got to take into consideration what extra random late pick will we see being accepted tomorrow as well, if we're going to see that trend continue. Because that's something we've seen for the past month or so. So yeah, lots of very interesting designs. Popstar Garage Door, for example, one of the better performing skins at the moment in terms of upvotes and downvotes and interest overall. So yeah, that's looking pretty cool, glow-in-the-dark design. And of course, we also have to have some pretty cool designs like Stinger, Salvaged Sword, Transparency, looking pretty sweet. Get a good look at that. And then in terms of the clothing and armor, you might be surprised with what you see, but we actually have Heatseeker hoodie and pants, and then of course Island Assault hoodie and pants. I've shown off the short video. People aren't convinced. They aren't very happy with that design. Nothing wrong with it in terms of the design. It's just, it's not paid to win camouflage or anything. So many people sitting there saying, pay to lose, pay to lose. Shut up. And over to here, Island Assault Grey Out Collection. Yes, yes. But some improvements were made by the skin creator. It's looking pretty sweet. So yeah, again, what are your thoughts? Cool. So I believe I've addressed everything. If we go back over to here, look at all the skins as they were submitted, you'll see that the Ammo Sinotype Large Box is the top performing skin this past week. Lots of upvotes, very good upvote to downvote ratio, 2.6. The Island Assault hoodie pants are there in second place. Neon Pice Ridge is third. Deep Ruby Ochre is fourth. And the Army Tools, that is looking pretty good there. So overall, some pretty interesting things going on. And if I could now quickly navigate over to here, I have to bring up that Twitch drops are here. Yes, the Global Warfare event is taking place on Twitch in just over a week. And basically, all these 6 Twitch drops will be readily available. You can watch anyone streaming Rust, like me, on Twitch, like me, and you can get all those Twitch drops after 6 hours. It's that easy. You just watch anyone streaming Rust on Twitch, you'll get all 6 of those skins very, very easily. An awesome looking microwave small box, a very nice worldly map for a rug, an awesome looking aquarium themed fridge, lovely looking sheet metal double door, transparent aim sight MP5, and a nice blue jackhammer. We also happen to have this wooden double door here. I can confirm this is now guaranteed and finalised. Transparency, the glow in the dark, it's all been approved. That'll be a charity skin though. This will be in the Rust store on the July 24 Rust store, selling for about $5 to $10. But once it's gone, it's gone. You'll never be able to buy it again because that'll be non-tradable, non-marketable. All right? When you buy it, it's bound to your account. But with the transparency, with the glow, it's super impressive. It's super unique compared to, well, all the other wooden double doors, I guess. So, yeah, okay, that's cool. And also be aware of Mr. Fancy Orb's Tiltify, raising funds for the Hope for the Day, a mental health awareness movement charity. So give that a good look if you want. But yeah, overall, things are looking pretty sweet. Things looking pretty all right. And if you get a very good look at the likes of all those Twitch drops, I've got a video right here showcasing all of them. Rust July Global Warfare 2025 Twitch drops skin showcase. Give that a good look. All right then, so that is essentially everything that needs to be said. So thank you very much. But now let's skip ahead and do the actual barders. All right. So how many barders are we going to instantly see on that large box? What do you reckon? Well, let's let the magic happen now. Instant tons of barders. Here we go. And the answer is probably 1,000. How high will the price be as well? What do you reckon? Come on. Appear. Appear. And we've got 200 instantly. Only a 50p barder. Curious. Very. Right, then over to here we have the Neil Meat Fridge. No. No. You know what? I might just instantly go over and do a barder right here as well. Sinotype Firearms. We have barders going all the way up to just over $2. Yes, I can see that. Okay. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. And I'm going to request this. I think that's good. Right, so I want to make sure I get a good 2 barders in there. Let's go over to here now. Back to the first account. First account, Neil Meat Fridge. I do still believe this is going to be the one that's most likely going to be getting the continuation tomorrow. Now, I suggested what price again? Been a bit slow now, Hedge. I know, I'm sorry. If this is selling for $2.49, and I did say maybe $1, maybe I'll go a little bit higher than $1 because other people have basically beaten me. I will probably go ahead and offer this. And then I'll go over to here, look at Impact Protocol Icepick. I don't have that much faith in it. I'm not feeling super confident with it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll offer 0.85, 40. That's about $1.10. Black Diamond Boots haven't appeared. Deep Ruby Rock has not appeared. Nuke Vibe Door has appeared. I don't want to offer too much. And over to here, Funerary, nope. Black Diamond Boots, nope. Right, let's go ahead and back over to here. I'll do a second barter on the Neil Meat Fridge. I can see barter's going up to $2. Can confirm. Interesting, very interesting. Is that going to last? Questionable. All right then, so what am I going to do? I'm going to go offer this, and we'll see if it works out nicely in the future. Okay. Second barter, that's got barters going up to about $1.50. That's essentially what we suggested. Do you want to do another buy order? Questioning it, thinking about it. Maybe I'll go take the highest buy order. I just won't request that much. Okay. There you go. That'll do. Alright. That seems to be reasonable to a point, I believe. If I could go back over to here on this account, I was hoping to get the Black Diamond Boots. There we go. Yes. Okay, that's got a pretty decent amount of buy orders. Not too many. Now, with the Black Diamond Boots, what do we suggest? I said 70 cents to that. Okay, so I'm thinking. I am going to go ahead and offer this. That's $1. Yeah, I've instantly gone for the dollar because I know it's not that many people doing that. And then I think I will probably sit here and say, you know what, that's a decent amount of barters. Let's now skip ahead and look at the abnormal barter support and question, do you want to jump in and actually buy any of these skins? For that. Alright, it's been about 45 minutes. Let's go ahead and take a look at all those skins, see how their abnormal barter support's looking. And I've got to sit here and say, this large box, it's a $2.49 skin, isn't it? Yep. It has barters going all the way up to $2.43. Now, just want to point out, I'm actually $2.42. But if you took me away, you still have people with barters at $2.30, $2.20. That looks like it's retaining its value. However, as we have said multiple times, if we do not see the collection continuation, if we do not see another storage, that's not going to be staying like that forever. No, no. People will very likely dump to the highest buy order. Now, tomorrow, it's not the end-all be-all. They could wait a week and then, you know, accept another one. We'll wait and see, all right? We'll wait and see. So, if we do end up seeing the ammo box tomorrow, oh my, that's going to go up in price. If we see it happen next week, oh yeah, that's still going to go up in price. It's a bit of an awkward wait, but things are looking pretty cool here, right? If you want to go ahead and buy some, you're more than welcome to do so. If you understand the rules with purchases and whatnot, you can take advantage, but I won't say any more. We'll leave it at that. If you're watching this tomorrow, during your lunch break or whatever, please be aware last week's Rustore rotated early. Like as if it was a Rustore rotation, like a force wipe Rustore. That's how early it was. I do not know how early tomorrow's Rustore will be. It's always a guess. It could be fairly late. It could be fairly normal. It could be fairly early. We'll see. But that, you've got to make a decision if you actually jump in and buy some. If this was any other skin, that looks like a perfect choice to go ahead and actually buy some. But we know for a fact that this very likely was bought in excess. And if we don't see the positives, you might see some problems. Oh, yes, you might. So, we'll leave it at that. So, if that's looking pretty okay, if you actually want to go ahead and buy some, what about the other skins? Neon Meat Fridge. I talked positively about this as well. I basically said, well, what's the most likely outcome to see a collection continuation tomorrow? The fridge. Will it behave exactly like the lockers? Will it actually perform better? Will people appreciate and end up wanting to buy all the fridges? Who knows? But we need to see another fridge being accepted first, don't we? Yep. But I would expect this to be more likely compared to the large box. Maybe we get both. My goodness, that would be a great Rustore. And tier 3. Right then, so you're in a good spot. Not perfect, but not too bad either. You could probably make a move, make a purchase. It's got barters going all the way up to $2. It is a $2.49 skin. However, if you think, you know what, I could probably just put down like a $2.30 barter, try and pick this up for 20 cents cheaper. Okay, that's fine. But if we don't see a collection continuation, if this is all by itself, I could see there potentially being some problems. But I am anticipating more. That's not necessarily meaning it's gonna, it's gonna be a guarantee. So you've got to be like prepared for the worst, right? So kind of similar to the large box. Keep an eye on that. You might have to remove a barter, or if you genuinely want to go ahead and grab some, by all means go grab some if you want to, or maybe just go with a fairly strong barter of like $2.20. Try and get them about 30 cents cheaper. The choice is up to you. Impact Protocol Salvaged Icepick. I'm not really under the impression it's going to be a-okay, but what can I say? We haven't had a salvaged... I've never sat down and talked about Salvaged Icepick ever since I've started YouTube, because we haven't seen one being accepted since 2018. Fair enough. Understood. Looking at that, though, it doesn't look like it's going to retain its value. $2.49, highest barter stops at $1.70-ish. Will it work out? Will it not? It has sold quite a lot. It has sold quite a lot, and that is a concern. So we'll leave it at that. I think you're better off just maybe putting down like a $2 barter, get these for 50 cents cheaper. Over to here, the Black Diamond boots. This is also looking to be this looks like a perfectly fine consideration. If we didn't have the large box, if we didn't have the fridge, if you were to tell me, Hedge, you have to buy something, I'd buy the boots. That's some very good barter support right there. That's looking pretty okay for a $1.49 skin. For a skin that's looking like it's going to match up perfectly with its with the Roseanne gloves tomorrow, the Black Diamond Roseanne gloves. I'm fine with that. Black Diamond's reasonably in demand. Let's just quickly hop back over to here. Yep, still up. Thank you. Thank you so much. Click Black Diamond. Just to point out, the majority of it is in the positive. You might question the weapons, but I'm looking at, the clothing armor and whatnot. $5 after selling at $2. Will you end up at what, like, I don't know, $3, $4? It's still good profit. So, choice is up to you, but yeah, things are looking pretty appealing for the boots right there. So that's a nice consideration if you want to make, consider a purchase. Maybe offer $1.30, get them 20 cents cheaper. It's up to you. Over to here, Deep Ruby Rock. This is not doing a good job retaining that price. Just under 11,000 subscribers. Barter's only gone up to $1.40. You could probably just put down like a $1.50 barter. I wouldn't be surprised if you could pick this up for $1 cheaper. Over to here, the Nuke Vibe door, very similar. This has barters only going up to just barely over $1. Just put down like a $1.30 barter. You'd be able to buy that for a lot less than $1. Well, I mean, you'd save a lot more than $1. That's what I meant to say. I got the wrong way around. And then over to here with the Funerary Backpack, and that's only got barters barely going over $1 as well. It doesn't look like it's going to retain its value. Maybe things do work out with the idea of people not listing theirs at under a certain price. That could be interesting, but it's not something we can rely upon. So based on what I'm looking at over here, what I'm looking at here, these three skins you're probably better off just doing like a $1 cheaper buy order. So you could probably pick up all three of these for a $1.50 buy order. That wouldn't be too surprising. This right here, though, that's looking appealing. The fridge is looking appealing. And, of course, the boots are looking appealing. You could consider buying those. If you felt the need to buy something, those are some good shouts. But remember, this one's very hit and miss. If we see the continuation, yeah. If we don't, So, we'll leave it at that. That's essentially everything that needed to be said. So, tomorrow's rush store, will it be early? You should be prepared for such a thing. So with that, we'll just have to wait and see. But just to confirm, just to reiterate, last week the rush store rotated around 7 PM London time, which again is early. So hop to it, I guess. What do you reckon? Are you going to make some purchases? Do you believe in Sinotype? And what skins could we potentially be seeing accepted other than that, There's plenty of skins that are submitted. Plenty of boxes, I should tell you. Lots of interesting deplorables. There's a pizza wheel, a bone locker, a cryo vending machine, Harbour Seal sleeping bag, Croco sleeping bag. We've also got various doors as well. Seahorse, welded, a Phoenix garage door, Anarchist garage door, Signal Tomato. We also have a puzzle glow, a dragon breathing fire. That looked cool as well. That looked really awesome. Lots of salvaged pickaxes, of course. Then over to here, as I mentioned, a Deep Ruby Ayoka. We have Hellborn sap with a transparent aim sight. Get a good look at this. We never got the Heatseeker sap, did we? Well, you never know. Maybe we'll see a random Heatseeker skin being accepted. Can't rule it out. What extra late pick will we see? What collection will randomly get, randomly pulled out from who knows what? We'll see. I've got to give a shout out to Shedmon. Everyone wants to make their skins look ever so nice and pretty. He wanted his skin to look as if it was buried for about 100 years. Look at that. I think it's cool. I think people actually appreciate that. Not sure about the price, but yeah, we'll see. So yep, that was all the recent submissions. Steel burlap collection continuations, the recent poncho, bandana, and of course the boonie hat. Heatseeker clothing, Island Assault clothing. We also have Funerary Tier 3, and for the previous week, we also saw the likes of an attempt for graffiti small boxes. Yes, what happens if we see that instead of Sinotype? Well, I guess we'll keep an eye out for the likes of graffiti all over again. God, imagine if they did that. Lots of interesting collection continuations here as well. It's all good. So that's it. That's a wrap. And typical, right? Whatever. We'll just end it with this. Best of luck with all of you. Be prepared. Let's see how it turns out. All right. Let's be a little bit hopeful.